Each year, Americans across the nation celebrate the Martin Luther King Jr. Day by volunteering in their communities. The MLK Day of Service is part of the United We Serve, a national call to serve, an important part of President Obama's volunteerism program. Since its designation as a federal holiday in 1994, MLK has changed from a day off from work into a day to work for others. Administered by the Corporation for National and Community Service, the day provides opportunities in communities throughout the nation so people can participate and serve. Travel Television visited one of the MLK Day events in Washington, D.C.
Dr. King said that life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are we doing for others? And the MLK Day of Service provides us the opportunity to answer that question.
If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. By giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great. Because everybody can serve.
Hi, my name is Jan Britt. I'm from Fort Pierce, Florida. We're making packets for our military men and women.
Well, you volunteers are rocking it out there. I love the energy in this room. It's wonderful.
I joined the United States Marine Corps in 2008. I was on the receiving end of some of these care packages, and it meant so much to me to receive the love and support from Americans back home that in my own way I wanted to give back.
I watch you come through. Family, kids, grandkids, moms, dads, grandpas, grandmas. And you all get it. You all get what is so important today.
I'm volunteering here today because it's important to me that everybody has all of the basic needs met in their life.
Service is an important part of what makes us human and also an important part of what makes us good citizens.
On MLK Day, I'm going to make that choice to be in service to others for the rest of my life.
As Coretta Scott King proclaimed,
the greatest gift Martin could receive is if people of all racial and ethnic backgrounds
celebrated the holiday
by performing individual acts of kindness
through service to others.
Over 600,000 homes on Long Island were damaged by Hurricane Sandy. A nonprofit organization from the Twin Cities has been a major source of volunteers. NACHAMA is an organization specializing in national preparedness response and recovery nationwide. The group grew from friends working out of a truck after a local flood. Today, they send groups and individuals across the nation to get dirty, doing good deeds in Massapequa and East Rockaway, New York. Travel Television visited these sites.
My name is Bill Futornik. I am the Ritual Director of Congregation Beth Jacob in Redwood City, California. And I brought a group of teenagers mostly, and actually a group last week as well, to Long Island to work with NACHAMA, which is the Jewish response to disaster. And we're here to rebuild houses. And we're here to help those who were affected by Hurricane Sandy. And we're here to really volunteer and give our time to improve the world, honestly. Right after the tornado hit in Oklahoma and more, I was reading some articles, and one of the relief workers said, you know, it's not like anything you've ever seen, and you have to be here to understand what's going on. And one of the things we as a Jewish community are good at, and I'm one of the leaders of my congregation. I'm the clergy partner to Rabbi Ezra at Congregation Beth Jacob. One of the things we're really good at is sending out emails and asking for donations, and our congregation and our community is very generous to help those in need. But what we don't do so much is when we respond to these disasters, actually to respond to the disaster, to come in person. And we do a lot of local work with homeless shelters and with Second Harvest and such, but we haven't really responded to disasters. So we thought, you know, why don't we see if there's a way to actually get on the ground? Some of our congregants have been to New Orleans and Mississippi after Katrina and had incredible experiences. Said, you know, we'd like our congregants to have the same thing. We'd especially like our teenagers to have that because we want to instill in them a spirit of volunteerism and to really find the empathy when they come to a house and see what it's like. So I did some research. With the internet, you can really find anything now. And I discovered there's only really one one organization, Jewish organization, that was a disaster relief organization. That's Nechama. And I contacted them, and they were very quick to get back to me, and they just seemed incredibly well organized around this effort. And they said, well, as far as Oklahoma goes, we don't know how much longer we'll be there, but the Sandy rebuilding is going on for another year, which was very surprising to me because, the hurricane hits in October, and for a year and a half, they're going to have to rebuild. The minute it leaves the newspaper, it seems to leave our consciousness. So, we looked at kind of what is it that we want to be doing. We want to be helping people, and when they fall out of the news, maybe even more so. And so I contacted Nechama. We talked about how we get a group here. I think it was kind of attractive for some of our teens to come to New York, honestly, and get a taste of the city and see something a little bit different. And so that's how we wound up here. That's how I wound up in East Rockaway. And I've had the privilege of being in 4 or 5 different homes now over the last 2 weeks in various stages of painting and sanding and mudding and drywalling and insulating and all sorts of things that you do, which I am now learning skills, and now I am, I think, much better qualified to paint my children's rooms. From my perspective as somebody who's in the Jewish community and someone who teaches and someone who, especially young people, but I teach all ages, our Jewish values, and really they're honestly universal values, are about helping each other when we're in need. And I know that Ross had said it's amazing when you see people, it kind of restores your faith in humanity when people help each other. I think when you actually get your hands dirty, and painted, it creates a different dynamic from just writing a check. By the way, I'm not saying don't write the check. I wrote the check too. But when you get on the ground and you actually get dirty doing something, you feel like you have a stake in it. And I think it really transforms you. Sometimes it's hard to describe until you actually do it, because it's like the absence of a negative. But once you get on the ground and do it, you kind of see, that was a pretty transforming experience. And I know that the group I had last week felt pretty transformed by the experience. In this group, we've been having little debriefs at night, and the teens are saying, how incredibly grateful they feel. And if nothing else, it'll make you feel very grateful for the life that you have.
I'm Dahlia Jude, and we're in Massapequa, New York, rebuilding homes after Hurricane Sandy. I decided to come here because I figured to make good of my summer, of my free time, and volunteer was something that I was passionate about and help with what I could.
I came here just to because my relative's house burned down in a fire locally, and I knew what devastation came to them, and I wanted to help people like them during my summer. I'm from San Francisco, California, and we're working with Nechama.
I think the best part of the volunteer experience is seeing the progress we've made on the houses just over a couple of days, and seeing how happy the people who live here are with the work we're doing.
Even if you don't have any experience building homes, or you've never done anything like this, to come in here and make such a difference, or at least make a little bit of a difference, is means a lot to me, that I can learn and kind of just help someone out in any way that I can by being here and doing just my part, I guess. We're here for 5 days.
I would say it's worth it. It's worth the unpleasant weather and the hard work you do all day, because at the end of the day you feel like you're really making a difference, and that's more than you would make by not doing it. So you feel not only good about yourself, but you feel good about the work you're doing and the people you're helping. So I would just say it's a great experience, and I recommend it.
My name is Sasha, and I'm here. I'm coming from Las Vegas, Nevada, and for half my life I was in prison, and I just feel like I'm spending the second half of my life fixing what I did in the first, and it's just a really wonderful thing working with these people, and just the most rewarding thing I've ever done. I found it, I just Googled it, and I wanted to help out with Sandy. This is the second time I've been here, and it's too bad that the news right now just kind of doesn't show anything about all the people in need right now, and it's just really nice being able to help out people that are in need. I've been doing basically it's really easy stuff. I mean, sanding and painting so far, because I've only been here 2 days now, so it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of cool work, and you kind of get to learn things about how a house is put up, and it's a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun, and you're around some of the nicest people. Volunteering, I would say, is the absolute most rewarding thing I've ever done, and it's just so nice being able to help people in need, and I'd recommend it to anybody and their kids, to bring your kids out here, and I mean, it's just a great experience, really great experience.
My name is Ross Topol, and I work for Nechama Jewish Response to Disaster as a team leader out here in Long Island, helping homeowners put walls back into their houses after Hurricane Sandy has come and washed away all their possessions. It's been contaminated, and all the houses have had to get gutted out, and mold suppression, and now we're coming in and we're rebuilding the homes. We've been out here since the storm, and we've been gutting out homes, and now we're finally coming back to put all the walls back in them. I was working remotely for the organization from Chicago, helping them do some media and web related stuff for the organization. When Hurricane Sandy hit, and I knew I was going to have to come out here. So I got the call, and immediately we drove several of our trucks and trailers out here to Long Island and New Jersey, and to help as how we could with the relief efforts. And we immediately started gutting out people's homes, helping them with trees that were lying on their houses, and doing anything we could to help the local community as they're starting to get their feet back underneath them. Nechama is a disaster relief nonprofit, and it's based out of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. We primarily will respond to hurricanes, tornadoes, and floods, and we'll drive out there with our trucks and trailers, which are pretty much like a Home Depot on wheels. They have everything we need, to generators and chainsaws and pumps and pretty much any tool we'd ever need to help out. So we immediately get to a disaster if there's a strong enough need for us to come there, and we'll deploy, and all we need are volunteers at that point because we've brought all the tools. So it was really amazing when we came out here to the tri-state area because there were so many people just wandering the streets that wanted to help out, and they would just walk up and say, hey, can I help? And we'd have them sign a volunteer waiver, and they would immediately be able to help out their community and give back, which was really inspiring for me to see a lot of the community coming together after the storm. It's been about 11 months since Hurricane Sandy first hit land and devastated much of Long Island and the tri-state area. When we first came out, we were gutting out homes, and since then, much of that work has been done, so we've kind of moved on to being able to go back and begin the slower process of putting the drywall back into those homes and putting walls back into them, and painting them so that the homeowner can finally move back into their home, as many of them have been displaced ever since the storm. What motivates me the most in doing this type of work is seeing people in need. I've been to, I think, about 8 disasters at this point, and just seeing how devastated these people are, especially when you're coming out for something like this, where their possessions are still in the home, but they're essentially destroyed, but they're still there. It's not like a tornado where they're just gone, they're strewn away. They're still there, but they're ruined from the water that has oil and sewage and everything in it. And you really can't keep a lot of those things. Some things will never be clean again. And seeing these people, and so many of them just don't know what to do. For me, it's really rewarding to be able to come in and show them exactly, this you can keep and this has to go, and this is what we're going to do to get you to start moving forward, because a lot of people need to know those first steps right after the storm. So for people coming out to volunteer, I think it's a very rewarding process. You get to meet the homeowners, but also you get to meet other people that are doing the same thing as you for the right reasons. For me, it really helps to restore my faith in humanity when I'm coming out and doing this type of work, and there's tons of other people that come out and they want to do it alongside me just because they think it's right. A lot of times, you know, in the wake of a disaster, it's very upsetting, and it's just inspirational for me to see this come out of it and everybody kind of coming together regardless of their faith or background, just everybody coming together for the same reason, to just help people out.
To learn more about volunteer opportunities, check out nakama.org.
Well, the resolution will be a joint resolution recognizing the enormous contribution that international volunteers make to the peace, security, the well-being of people all around this globe. The United Nations has recognized the enormous contributions that international volunteers make, and we think it's time that the Congress acknowledge that contribution. It's quite compelling when you read the numbers and the contributions that volunteers are making from America all over the world. Well, first of all, it should be noted the corporations in America have contributed millions of dollars and sent their people all over the world doing countless hours of work. The colleges and universities are sending people all over the world, faith-based organizations like Habitat for Humanity, and many of the individual churches throughout their country are sending people all over the world to help with projects. So the fact is that there are just tens of thousands of hours and tens of thousands of individuals from America who are going abroad, and they're taking the message of what America is all about, extending a helping hand in so many positive ways. And by recognizing that, we hope that more people will embrace that, want to become a part of it. As John Kennedy said, you know, why not have a Peace Corps? Well, guess what? Every one of these global volunteers and international volunteers are indirectly a tremendous force for peace and for goodwill and uplifting and improving the human condition throughout the world. They're our very best spokesman for what America is all about at its best. So we want to encourage this, and that's what this resolution is all about. Well, we need to commend the Building Bridges Coalition for really being the driving force in this recognition. And having talked and met with and had so many members of my own family and so many of my own friends who have gone overseas and done volunteer work, it's really quite amazing how they, in the process of extending themselves to help someone else in need, they, at the end of the day, feel like they're the primary beneficiaries by learning so much from other people around the world and developing a deeper understanding of how profound some of the needs are around the world. There are places in this world with life expectancies of, 25 to 30, where people don't grow old, where people don't have the benefits of an education and health care. And so by going out around the world and helping uplift humanity, people who do that volunteer work find themselves uplifted and feeling good about the experience. And most importantly, in the process, they help somebody else in the world. It's a wonderful thing. And so we want to encourage it. We want to encourage more people to look for those opportunities. We want to encourage more organizations to help facilitate and create those kind of opportunities. It's America at its best.
Another interesting travel find is autoslash.com. This is a website dedicated to saving travelers money on car rentals. As of this writing, they are the only site on the internet that applies the best coupons and discounts, tracks rental price changes right up to the moment you pick up your rental vehicles, and then automatically rebooks users into these savings. The service is free for travelers, so it's definitely worth your time to check out this new service.
Growing up as a baby boomer in America, you certainly heard and read quite a bit about the Vietnam War. And similar to places like Gettysburg in our history, Vietnam certainly has its share of historical battlegrounds. Here, we venture into the jungle to find one of them. Siao Quet is a camp where you can get a look at a history from the Vietnamese perspective, along with some lush Southeast Asian scenery. So when you enter the camp, you've got two choices. You can take the winding path through the jungle, which they say takes about 45 minutes, or they tell me you can rent one of these boats and they will take you through the jungle on the boat itself. The boat's a nice option, but I'd recommend getting a little mileage and experiencing this jungle landscape by foot. You'll see more of them along the way, but it's so different from anything back home that the whole experience never gets stale. You'll take a walk through the jungle and you'll come to replicas like this. This is a replica of the office of the lead soldier here for the Viet Cong. And then if you follow me a little bit further ahead, you're gonna find these mounds here that are in different spots. And what they are is they're bunkers. And they would climb down into that bunker because when the Americans were bombing them, this is where they would take refuge. As you wander through the camp on these winding trails, you're going to come to plenty of these bridges. But you better be careful and pay attention because there are no railings and you definitely don't want to end up down there in the swamp. If you can manage to do that, a stroll through this jungle is a walk in the woods that's worth the trip.
In 1987, Montgomery County created Make a Difference Day, a day when county residents would lend a helping hand to those in need. Make a Difference Day has since gone national, and Montgomery County continues its long and storied tradition of serving others. Travel Television captured several of these volunteers giving back to the community. First, we went to Button Farm, where a local Girl Scout troop participated in the Make a Difference Day activity of helping to restore the farm. The day kicked off with a welcoming introduction to the farm.
Welcome to the Button Farm, developing its Button Farm Living History Center. Over the next 8 months, the house, historic barn, pavilion, and other outbuildings will be restored to use for the public and for our programs here at Button Farm.
And a joyous ribbon cutting ceremony before the volunteers got down to work.
We are always trying to find good causes to help people, like serving at soup kitchens or places that they need help.
I'm here because I think that community service is a really great thing to do.
We thought it would be nice to help tidy up and stuff the Button Farm.
We're helping with the gardens.
We're weeding and fluffing up dirt.
We're going to help put these flower beds and things to rest.
We're gonna make them ready for next spring.
We want to make this place better so people can learn about the Underground Railroad.
I think it's a really nice thing that this historical place is educating kids, and we'd like to make it really nice.
The county's had a long history of volunteerism. It really started well over 25 years ago with Bruce Adams, who conceived of the idea of Community Service Day, and it's something that has gone national now. But we've had 25 years of it, and so it's really a hallmark of the county to get people out to volunteer on a variety of projects, and here at Button Farm is just one example of that.
Travel Television also visited A House with a Heart, a senior pet sanctuary in Gaithersburg, where volunteers give back by caring for the pets and assisting with the upkeep of the house.
We're at the pet sanctuary known as House with a Heart. I'm Tommy Duffy, and here we are taking care of dogs that are special needs or old and owners don't have the money to take care of him anymore. Well, I come here and volunteer because, well, at first I just needed SSL hours, but now, like, I'm getting to know some of the dogs, and I think I'm going to keep doing it for a while.
My name is Bob Bedell. We came to visit the House with a Heart about a year ago, my wife and I, and liked it, so we decided to volunteer here. We come here once or twice a week and help out with the animals and cleaning up the yard and that type of thing, and whatever needs to be done. Sitting down with the animals, spending 15 minutes, a half hour holding a pet or have them climb all over you. The animals, you can't believe how much they appreciate just having somebody hold them and pet them. I mean, there's no substitute for the human touch. It's just an amazing thing that they're doing here for taking care of animals.
There's a lot of things that aren't as good as they could be, so I think it's just our right as people of the community to help out however we can, whenever we can.
We encourage people to be very active, participate in our local form of government, and to get out and give back to the community, because there's no way for us as a government to provide all the resources and programs that are needed. But with volunteerism, the commitment of our community to go out and do things in the community, it helps us in very, very long ways in fulfilling what I think is really an obligation to give back. Montgomery has a wonderful program, Montgomery Serves. It's a site that you can go on and look at. It's been donated really by some of our volunteers who donated and put it together. So volunteers serve, go to our website. If you can't find it, just go to www.montgomerycounty.gov and we'll be able to get you the link there too.
Join Travel Television for stories of travel for a purpose. Volunteers working behind the scenes to encourage volunteerism around the globe. In each monthly episode, you will travel around the globe and see how you can become a part of those making a difference in areas ravaged by disasters.